So, free speech, hate speech, my speech, your speech, we are all entitled to have it. And you might say, why is this lad back talking again about the hate speech bill? Did we not get rid of that last September when Helen McEntee finally gave up the gig because she couldn't define what hate speech was? Yeah, I thought that myself. But it seems that Lad Bible Ireland, on behalf of their backing partners and all the other media companies that are involved in that conglomerate of what is, I suppose we'll call the world of marketing, which is funded, if you trace the roots, by European governments, by the Irish government and many others, which help push agendas and propaganda to suit their own narratives, of course. Now that's basic stuff. We won't go any deeper down the rabbit holes for that. Everyone keep up, yeah? You might say, why am I talking about it again? Well, it seems that Lad Bible went out and got themselves Rent-A-Mob, which can be hired at any university in Ireland. You know, for the price of so much as a coffee, you can go and you can hire yourself a bunch of university students who will go and protest against any opposing view you like. So whether that's just stop oil, stop cutting trees, let's get rid of free speech, they're all up for it. But how do you help enforce that idea? And how do you make it blow up online? Well, you have to hire an influencer, of course. But not an influencer like me, not that I class myself as one, but you hire someone who you know, is of the mindset, the viewpoint, and in the trend with the sort of people who believe this nonsense. So you hire someone like James Doyle Fitness, right, aka Protein Boar, because all the brain dead are following the likes of people like him. They like to look about fashion and going to festivals and whatever's trendy. Don't worry about what's going on in the world. Don't worry about how we are going to survive and how we're going to live and how we're eventually going to maybe buy a house, how we're going to strive, provide, have a family, them sort of things. Them details don't matter in this day and age. No. Everyone's living their best life. Yeah, so as I said, for the price of a coffee, you hire Rent-A-Mob, you go, you stand in front of the doll and you say you want to get rid of free speech, you want to bring in a hate speech bill, and we're going to be satirical about it and call it the leprechaun law, because apparently leprechauns have more rights in Ireland than the people do, if you can believe such nonsense. Yeah. So they all went and stood outside the doll, and they're trying to promote the fact that there's too much hate speech and rude comments online. But it's just because it doesn't suit what they want to say. They want to be able to go out, whether it's someone who wants to go out and identify as a cat, and they just want it that people like myself can't go, well, you can't be a cat, you're a human being, you're a person, you're either male, you're female. And that upsets them. That upsets the little wokies. Do you know, because they want to live in fantasy, mystical creature land, yeah? No, that day was the other day. That was on April Fool's Day. That day is over. Until next year. You have to act like a normal person until next year, and then we have Make-Believe Day again, right? That is part of the reason. The reason the government want to bring in something like this is so that when a politician does something wrong, that somebody can't go on and say, well, where did the money go? How come a bike shed cost this much? Because there's no defining what hate speech is. So any question of what your opinion, what your statement was, will be deemed as hateful towards that person. Makes a lot of sense, but yet makes no sense. And it all makes perfect sense. Right? It is removing your ability for free speech and being able to question people. I'm not on about being racist. I'm not on about threatening to hurt someone. Those are wrong things. Nobody is trying to advocate that people should be racist to people online. Yes, you can question the fact that there's an immigration problem in Ireland. Doesn't mean you have to call everyone a beep, 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 beep. That's not necessary. Stick to the facts. Stick to the figures. And you can still say that you want to question about immigration. You want to question where does all the money get spent by the government. You can do these things without being hateful. But you can't tell me that we can't be able to ask it. You need the freedom to ask it. The same freedom that I would grant to anyone to call me whatever they like online. I receive a massive amount of hateful comments online. Do I cry about it? No. Do I enjoy it to a certain extent? Yeah, I do. I actually do. I think I'm starting to thrive on it in recent years. Tinfoil hat wear, as well as many other things that wouldn't be suitable to put in a video. But everyone's quite happy to be able to put them in the comments. Well, James Doyle and Lad Bible Ireland are trying to remove your ability to do that. So whether you don't like me, or you don't like James, or you just don't like any of it, you can't say that people aren't allowed to hurt your feelings, but you feel perfectly acceptable to hurt mine. So check out some of the next few clips I'm going to throw in this video, just for shits and giggles. One is about what they're doing. One was me talking about free speech up to last year there, and so on and so forth. And why did I make this video? Because why not? Why not? Everyone else is whinging and crying about something. I said I'd come on and cry about something too. Come on, we haven't time for this.
I'm here with Morris from the Longacre. Morris, why did you think it was important to turn out to this event today?
Well, Maria, I just think it's very important to have the proper tools and be equipped to deal with the likes of the hate speech bill that's coming in, because if they remove our ability to question the narrative and they only have a one-sided agenda and viewpoint all the time, it wrecks it for people like myself who want to maybe share another opinion, another view. It's going to ruin the arts, it's going to ruin comedy, it's going to ruin the whole kind of platform of debate in Ireland, and that's not something I'm going to be standing for.
What are your major concerns around free speech in Ireland and this bill potentially coming in?
Well, look, I don't think anybody should be out there promoting, abusing certain minorities or certain communities. Nobody's going to stand for that. But we should be able to question the behaviour of certain minorities. We should be able to question the behaviour of certain communities. And it's not about picking on them. It's just about holding certain people accountable, whether it's politicians, whatever the case may be, being able to hold them accountable for their actions.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thanks.
The Leprechaun Law, fixing Ireland's hate speech laws. Ireland, the land of 100,000 welcomes. Unless you're online, because it's also the land where there are 100,000 ways to spread hate. Why just share the crack when you can share a bit of casual bigotry too? Because Ireland's hate laws were conceived before the internet. They were written back when a dodgy look in the pub or a nasty letter, that was the height of harassment. So someone could call you a or a or even tell you you deserve to be until you. And legally, that's absolutely grand, apparently. Unless you're a leprechaun. Because weirdly, under a 2009 EU directive, leprechauns are a protected species in Ireland. Leprechauns have protection where they need it, unlike us online, where we need it. So unless you got a pot of gold and a legally recognised habitat in County Louth, you're out of luck. So to avail of this law, become a leprechaun and sign the petition today. The Leprechaun Law, fixing Ireland's hate speech laws.
With political tensions growing in Ireland, many have taken to the street for peaceful protest. We met up with James.
Fuck off. And there's so many of them. And you know, like, you can pick them, they're everywhere. But they are now the modern media, like they're the modern telecaster, they're the broadcaster, because nobody watches RTE. So it's coming through their agencies on what the narratives they want pushed. You see when there's a massive agenda or an incident that happens in a country, in Ireland, all the influencers go the one way. This was what was the problem. This was the issue. And they all work in a clean sweep together. It's pushed through the agencies. They're told what to say. They're told to make that content. They don't do that at their own, initiative. Mm-hmm. And you see then how really those marketing agencies are being used.
What's the message you're trying to push the most at the moment then?
I suppose the importance of free speech, the importance of
Why is the free speech so important?
Well, you and me wouldn't be allowed to have this conversation, only for it.
Did you feel like your own free speech was taken away as well at some point? And
well, I think even now, like if you make a video and you touch on certain things, it's deleted. Mm. It's not warned anymore, it's deleted.